Hello, I'm Kevin Minton. I am the owner and chief executive officer of Chief Executive Boards International. And I want to welcome you today to the information session on our Insight Peer Group in collaboration with the South Carolina MEP. And what I'm going to do today is walk you through a couple of slides here just to illustrate a few things about the group and just share some ideas with you. And want to just make sure that we cover as many things as we can as possible. But the reason why we're here, the reason why we have this forum for manufacturers is because running a manufacturing plant or running a manufacturing company is kind of a lonely position. You don't really have a lot of people that you can talk with. So what we have done is we have put together a group of your peers who are also running manufacturing companies, and they are somebody that's in your shoes. They feel your pain. They know exactly what you are going through, and they have a lot of wisdom that they can share with you to help you to navigate some of the pitfalls and potholes of running a company. So again, I'm Kevin Minton, and I have owned Chief Executive Board since 2013. It's been around for a long time, since 1991. But we just started collaborating with SCEMP a few years ago on their roundtables. And we do have a group in Greenville and one that meets in Columbia, South Carolina. But we'll go ahead and get on with the presentation here. And our facilitator and coach for these groups is a lady by the name of Amy Beheeler. So we just wanted to introduce her to you as well. So what is a peer insight forum? Well, essentially, it's a group of individuals that are in your shoes. Again, they're the leaders of manufacturing companies that meet in a group of no more than 12. Usually about 8 or 9 is the perfect number around the table, but we limit it to no more than 12 so that we can accommodate everyone to have an opportunity to basically talk through their issues, their strategies, the problems they're having, receive feedback, and to allow adequate time for the agenda. We meet once a month, 12 times a year in the designated locations. These are face-to-face meetings. And we also, in between, sometimes we'll have virtual check-ins. You're welcome to check in with me or check in with each other or check in with Amy Beheeler. We collaborate together. We help each other to keep each other on track, hold each other accountable, make sure that we are helping you to avoid some of the navigational whitewater that you may encounter when you're running a business. There's also a level of accountability. So you've got someone who has your best interest in mind, but they're not a yes man or a yes woman. And they're going to tell you like it is that, hey, it may be something that you need to hear about where you're headed or the strategy that you might be trying to implement. And, last but not least, this is an opportunity to level up your game and accelerate your business. And in collaboration with that, we also want to see you achieve life balance. A lot of people get tunnel vision and they get very narrowly focused on their business. So we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to not fall off the rails and that you keep the other aspects of your life in check as well. I'll tell you what it's not. It's not another networking group. You're not there to sell your wares. We do not solicit to one another. We don't promote yourselves or your company. It's not a social event, although we do have some social activities, but this is not a social event. We are there to help one another to work through issues, solve problems, work on strategies, keep each other on track, help to accelerate our businesses and, achieve life balance. We're not a therapist or a yes man or a yes woman, as you heard me mention earlier. So why should you consider participating in a forum? Well, these are just a couple of reasons. It's, as you heard me mention earlier, it can be kind of lonely. There's no really any other person that you can talk with sometimes. It's difficult to talk with a spouse or a neighbor or a family member about what you might be encountering as you are running your business. And this really, it gives you an outlet to discuss the issues that you face with others who are facing the same issues, who probably have faced the same issues as you, and get some real feedback and guidance on, maybe where you're having some blind spots. It also broadens your thinking. Okay. You don't want to surround yourself with yourself. And this gives you the opportunity to get some broader perspective on where you're headed, where you're going, because we don't tend, if you think you've got it all figured out, if you think you have all the answers, this probably isn't for you. But if if you're running a business, you probably don't have all the answers. 95% of the people that I encounter, most people do not have all the answers to running their business. And this gives you an opportunity to grow, to learn, to make new connections who can help you, to get insights and solutions to the challenges that you might be facing on a daily basis. Even though we only meet once a month, you're welcome to reach out to anybody across the country in this forum. And chief executive boards, even though we have a group specifically for Greenville and a group specifically for Columbia, you are part of a network that is across the United States, and you have the ability to reach out to any of those individuals in this organization. And so if you want to level up, if you want to gain some insight, some peer knowledge on some of the best practices for running your business, you might want to consider looking into something like this. This is a very good group of individuals. They're very trusted individuals. They have your best interest at heart, but they're not biased. They're not going to tell you what you want to hear sometimes, just for the sake of you doing that. What they're going to try to do is to help you to be successful. So those are several good reasons why you might want to consider participating in the Insight Peer Forum. This is just a little sample of our decorum. We come into this meeting fully engaged. So we turn off our electronic devices. We want to be encouraging of inclusion, of diversity and participation, because that diversity of thought may give us some insight that we may not have been thinking about. You have to come to the table willing to share what you know with others, your wisdom, your knowledge, the experiences that you've had. And we have a genuine concern for each other and their well-being and their family, because we want to see each other succeed. Nobody wants to see anybody fail in this organization. And we have saved a lot of businesses from failure or from devastation or from making very costly mistakes, not only in their business, but we have done everything from saved businesses to marriages. I like to say it's very respectful and open-minded of others' opinions, and you should be grateful for that input. This is a chance for receiving some knowledge or some wisdom that you may not typically be privy to. When we see somebody getting off track, we want to respectfully challenge each other or be a devil's advocate and test the validity of our ideas to make sure that they are sound and that we are not going to go do something that could be hurtful or harmful or devastating. We want to be committed to attending the meetings and the events, because that's what makes it work. You need to be there for each other, to help each other and share what you know with each other. We don't solicit one another, and all the discussions that are held in these meetings are confidential. We call these the Chatham House rules. What's said there stays there. Nothing gets out on the street. So it's we make every individual or participant sign a form that indicates that, hey, what we discuss in these meetings, this is sacred ground, and this is not for public consumption. So anyway, that's just a little bit on the decorum. The typical agenda in the upstate, where we meet in Greenville, starts at 12 o'clock with lunch. We'll have introductions and talk a little bit about some of the upcoming events. Our speaker will join us at that time, and typically there's several different diverse topics that we like to bring to the table with our speakers. And they'll usually talk for about an hour and a half with questions and answers, and you can follow up with them if you like, but they're not there to solicit. Then we take a little break and we dive into what we call our roundtable discussions. And that's where every individual has an opportunity to discuss what are their issues, their problems, what are they facing, what strategies are they trying to implement, where do they need help, and how can we help them? And then afterwards, we'll at the end of the meeting, we'll go around the table and we'll talk about what are your key takeaways today. What is it that you're going to work on this next month that's going to help you to move the needle, either in your business or your personal life or with your family? And then we'll adjourn around 4:30 at the latest. Now, that's the upstate agenda. The meeting that we have in the Midlands or in Columbia starts at a different time. The format is exactly the same, except we start at 9 o'clock. And so we'll include lunch at 12 o'clock. But then we kind of build the roundtable discussion around lunch, excuse me. And then we'll adjourn no later than 2:30 in the afternoon. Now, sometimes we'll have these meetings at a member's facility, just so you can get some different perspective on how others operate their plant or how they operate their operation, and just give you some insight into how others work. But most of the times we're going to host these meetings at the SCEMP offices in Greenville or Columbia. Here's the way the discussion format works. We typically will start off with an update on the current situation. Where are you? How are things going? What progress did you make over the past month? What new issues and strategies or problems are you facing that you would like to discuss? And then we'll go around the table and allow the individuals around the table to offer thoughts and suggestions and advice on, what may be helpful for you. Joe or Jane around the table may say, hey, you know what? I've been through that. Let me just share with you what my experience has been. And maybe here's a contact for you, or here's a recommendation for you that may be an alternative that you might want to consider. And then at the end, we'll ask you, okay, what did you hear from this discussion? What are you taking away from this? What do you think you're going to do about it, and by when? So there's that level of accountability. We also, as part of being a member of this organization and participating in our Insight peer group, you have the opportunity to join us for our national summits. This is included in your membership. And we meet for 2 days in April, and we rotate the meeting venues where we host these meetings. So for example, the last one we had was in Louisville, Kentucky. The next one will be in Savannah, Georgia in April the 19th through the 21st of 2023. And we're going to be hosting that at the Hyatt Regency on the riverfront there in Savannah, Georgia. And it's an opportunity where you'll be placed on another forum group with members from across the country, not just the individuals that you have in your local group where you meet face-to-face, but this is a face-to-face meeting with members from across the country. It'll look very similar to your group in the local region, but this will be a diverse group of individuals and companies from across the country. And we do not put competitors on the same group, so you don't have to fear being in an uncomfortable situation. We also host some very nice retreats. This is an opportunity for you and a significant other to get away to some very nice 5-star locations, to break away, learn a little bit, and to also recharge the batteries, rejuvenate, relax, hang out with some like-minded people, and do some fun things. We also have and host adventures. We do this across the country. In fact, the next one we have coming up is going to be a fishing trip, a sport fishing trip in Key West. And that's going to be in October, but our members have an opportunity to participate in those as well. And again, that's That's an opportunity to get away, recharge the batteries with like-minded people, have some fun. We work really hard as leaders, and you need to break away. And as they say, all work and no play makes Jane or Joe a dull boy or a dull girl. So you need to get out and enjoy the fruit of it a little bit. We have a number of other things that you have access to in chief executive boards and with SCEMP. We have a forum, a virtual forum called Ask a CEO. So if you have something that comes up in the meantime, while you're not meeting, you can post a confidential question out on our virtual forum, and it goes out to hundreds of other business CEOs or presidents, and in a confidential format, of course. And you have an opportunity to get some immediate feedback, and you can reach out to those individuals through our member directory. Say somebody, comes back with some feedback that's helpful to you. Look in the member directory, look them up and call them. Say, hey, thank you for that advice. We also believe that leaders are readers, and we have a recommended reading list for you. We also have a very robust digital library where you have access to all kinds of content and videos and presentations and helpful forms, all kinds of things that can be very helpful to you so that you don't have to continue to be stale in how you go about your business. We believe that we should always be constantly learning and growing. In addition, we also host a number of workshops. These are virtual workshops or in-person workshops. We also have virtual current issues forums about once a month where we talk about some of the challenges, the general challenges that we might all be facing, such as inflation or employment issues, or a number of different challenges that you could be facing. You may also want some personal coaching and development. We also can provide that. We have resources for that as well on a number of different things. And then typically once a month or every two, we'll have a learning webinar on, again, different subjects that might be helpful to you. Our typical meeting schedule, again, you heard me mention that we meet in person on a monthly basis, usually runs for about a half a day. And they're typically held at SCMEP locations, although occasionally we do host them at other members' facilities. And here's the return on investment that you're looking at. So the way that it works is you attend a trial meeting or two. There's no obligations. Come join us as a member for the day. You get to meet the other members. We will make you sign a confidentiality agreement, but once you get an opportunity to attend those meetings, then we'll look to invite you to become a member. And if you do become a member, it's $1,200 per quarter to participate, and that includes the 12 meetings per year at the local level. You can participate in our national summits. That's included. You have access to our member directories and all the free training webinars, our current issues forum discussions, one-on-one check-ins with other members or with me. You also have access to our online training videos, educational materials. You can join us for our retreats and adventures and workshops. Those are an additional cost. We don't build those into the quarterly dues because not everybody needs to participate in the workshop, or they need some of that coaching, or they need or want to participate in a retreat or an adventure, but you're welcome to. You're welcome to join us should you have a desire to do so. And you have access to all the other features. The only thing that we ask you to pay for is your travel and accommodation. So that's what the financial obligation would look like. It's kind of a stick your toe in the water approach. We want to make it easy for you to try it on for size and see if it's a fit. And if it is a fit, then this is what it would look like for you to participate. So this is normally where we'd ask if there are any questions, but I'm going to talk about some of the next steps. So if you do have an interest, what you would do is you could participate and join us for a trial meeting or two. There's no financial obligations until after the trial meetings. And then what we would do is reconnect and have a conversation after the board votes to make sure that there's a comfortable fit, because we don't want to place anyone in an uncomfortable position. We want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable, that it's a good fit. And then we would contact you and see, all right, how did you feel about it? Was it a good fit? Is it of interest to you? Did you receive value? And do you think you can contribute value to the organization? And can you make the commitment to join us for the meetings? Because if you're not there, then you're taking away and not sharing your wisdom with the others as well. Then we would extend an invitation for you to join and get you registered, get you all set up with your member credentials, and then run through an onboarding scenario with you to get you up to speed and get you introduced to the resources and the people that are available to you. And then we'll extend invitations to get those on your calendar. We plan these events a year in advance so that we can protect the dates on our calendars. And so we would extend those calendar invitations with all the meeting logistics to you so that you can protect those dates for all the future events. And we understand life gets in the way occasionally, and sometimes you have to miss, but we do our best to try to protect those dates on our calendars. So if you have an interest in joining us or learning more about this, I want to invite you to reach out to me, Kevin Minton, anytime at info@ceboards.com. Just shoot me an email, or you can call me directly at 864-395-7027. And again, I'm Kevin Minton. I'm the owner and CEO of Chief Executive Boards. We are in collaboration with South Carolina MEP, have been doing this for quite a while. And this is where you can contact me if you have further interest in or just questions that you want to ask. So I'm going to stop sharing at the moment, and I'm going to bid you goodbye, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you very much, and thank you for taking the time to watch the video and for your interest in this Peer Insight group. Have a great day.